Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is titled Paulwell for PNP President and Tie Trouble in Westmoreland Eastern between Buchanan and Lawrence. So, the JLP has won the general election for the year 2020 and has created history with a color grid across the country. It's almost as if the entire Jamaica went green. When I say that, what I mean, there was just tiny pockets of orange when you look on the color grid. So, congratulations to the Jamaican Labour Party, and before I forget, let me congrats all of the females who won their seats in Gordon House on this election. I believe I counted 18 female, and if I'm not mistaken, that is history in itself. So most of you might be wondering, where did I get the news from? Paulwell for president for the People's National Party. I have not gotten that news. That is pretty much my choice, my preference, my nomination. So here's what I'm saying. The JLP has won the election. And the JLP has won the election because of many reasons, including the disunity that is vivid in the People's National Party. So put the JLP aside, that is actually a done and dusted deal. So let's discuss the People's National Party, because the JLP will still need an opposition to contest them, and we all know that will be the People's National Party. So the People's National Party has to create some levels of unity. Peter Phillips has stepped down officially, so the party is currently without a leader. And I'm sure Jamaicans are wondering who will be the next leader. And including myself, I was wondering who will be the next leader. I'm sure most people are thinking, well, it should be Peter Bunting because he was the one who wanted leadership. Well, wanting it and qualifying for it is two different things. I'm not saying Peter Bunting is not qualified. All of the People's National Party's members are qualified to be leaders. So my preference is Philip Paulwell. You know, when I scanned over who's left in the People's National Party, there's Philip Paulwell, there's Lisa Anna, there is Peter Bunting, there is Hilton. Those are people that I believe would be fit for leadership because of their reputation and because of their popularity with Jamaican people. So what I'm saying here is this is not a one-sided thing. This is not a PNP thing. This is not a JLP thing. I'm putting it out there to JLP, to PNP, and to Independent to put in the comment section of who they think should be the leader for the People's National Party and why. I don't want any JLP coming on my channel saying, well, I don't care who lead them because they are not the party that I support. It's irrelevant. What I'm saying is, in every country, we need an opposition to a party, to the governing party. We need an opposition. If we don't have an opposition, the governing party could get ahead of itself, and before you know it, we will be living in dictatorship. So this is necessary. So the reason why I've chosen Philip Paulwell is Philip Paulwell has been in politics since 1995, so he's got a good run. He's been there for 25 years with a fairly decent reputation. Philip Paulwell represents East Kingston and Port Royal, and from my understanding, he has a strong hold in that position, meaning he's been an impressive representative of East Kingston and Port Royal. The people love him, so it would have been surprising if he had lost in that constituency. And as you can see, he didn't just won his seat in that constituency, but he won it by a far lead in comparison to, say, Lisa Hanna, a beauty queen who turned politician, won by 14. That is a joke. Peter Bunting, who did not win his seat and lost by, I believe, 1,000 and some. But there was Hilton, who did good in his constituency and held on to his seat. So my reason for Paulwell is 58 compared to Andrew Holness, who is 48. So 58, 48, it's a decade gap, but Paulwell still got some youth in him, unlike Peter Phillips, who was 70. You know, I think Jamaicans want to see youthful people running their country, not pick-me, so to speak, but someone of today, someone of my age, someone that's seeing things through modern eyes and not politics of the old. You know, I believe that played a great part in the recent election, because the politicians, the majority, are of my age, seeing modern politics strategy. So for that reason, there was no violence, there was no shooting, there was no killing. You know, when you think of the 1970s and the 1980s, election day was a worrying time. I was recently talking to my wife and I told her that I remember when I was a child, you know, election day, we couldn't go to school, we couldn't go out. It was suggested that we just stay in our yard. And I remember that I was so programmed as a Jamaican that when I went to America, the first year, election day, I was asking my friends, are they still going to school? You know, and they was like, of course we're going to school. Everything goes on here. People go to work, people go to vote. Nothing changes. So that's how scarred I was from the 1970s and 1980s election. I believe the 1980 election was and still is one of the bloodiest and worst election in Jamaica history. Anyway, back to today's event. You know, congratulations again to the Jamaica Labour Party. But here's the thing that I want to point out to a lot of my viewers and subscribers, especially the commenters that commented on my last video, which was a review of the election. I want to declare my knowledge of the framework of the People's National Party and the framework of the Jamaica Labour Party. It has been established for years, for decades, that the Jamaican Labour Party is not a party that's truly designed for the little people, for the everyday people, for the common Jamaican. The People's National Party is a party that's designed for the little people, the common people. So in other words, I'm saying the Jamaican Labour Party is like the Republican Party of the United States of America. And the People's National Party is like the Democratic Party of America. For all you who lives in the UK, the People's National Party is like the Labour Party of the UK. And the JLP is like the Conservative Party of the UK. That I know. But considering the disunity between the PNP and the corruption that was exposed about the JLP, I think Jamaican people were in a bind. So one of my commenters said it best. They said, on this occasion, the Jamaican people have forgiven the Jamaican Labour Party for their corruption, only to see what will happen in the future, but he will not guarantee that that will repeat itself in the future. I too agree with that, because like I'm saying, there was a disunity between the PNP, there was internal conflict, and I would think that would make any People's National Party loyal get a little nervous. And at the same time, the JLP did a great job over their tenure. Nigel Clark, the Minister of Finance, he did an excellent job with the Jamaican dollar. So that was a plus. That was definitely a plus for people to weigh in. So the Jamaican Labour Party, I could see why they would sway more people in this election. So what I'm saying, forget COVID, forget the disunity. I still think the Jamaican Labour Party would have won the general election. Maybe not at such a ridiculous historical color grid, but I still think that the Jamaican Labour Party would have won because of how they've portrayed themselves. The biggest question I think most people would be asking would be about the former Minister of Education. I can't remember his name right now. Ruel Reid, who was exposed to have stolen millions and all that corruption, and there was some other corruption that came out, and Andrew Holness kind of like compared the JLP to the PNP by saying, I think if I interpreted what he was saying that we both steal. The PNP steal in bulk and we steal drip 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 drip. I think that's what I interpreted by his drip drip comment. But what I'm hoping for is that the framework of the Jamaican Labour Party expand itself to look out not only for the higher taxpayers in Jamaica, but for the little people as well, for everybody, because our population is not that big people. Our population is only like 3 million people, and I believe either party who controls the government should be able to take care of the entire Jamaica. So my hope is that the Jamaican Labour Party eradicate the old style of politics where when a party wins, the party only cater for its areas. The areas that voted for that party, voted for the government. In the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, that's how Jamaican politics used to be. You know, in other words, if, say, for example, Kingston East voted for the PNP and the PNP won, there are parts of Kingston East that would not be catered to because they were for the JLP. So let's hope that that kind of politics has outdated itself. Okay, so now for the tie trouble that's going on in Westmoreland Eastern between Buchanan and Lawrence. There was a preliminary count which put Lawrence of the JLP in lead at 4,831 versus Buchanan of the PNP, who was at 4,823. But I don't really think preliminary counts are important. What's important is the end count. And this end count has brought them at a tie at 4,834 votes each. Now, I'm not so sure what's going to happen in this situation. Articles that I've read are saying the returning officer has to make a decision. Who is a returning officer and what is a returning officer? If you guys know what that means, please educate me because I am clueless when it comes to a returning officer as to how do you break a tie, because at the end of the day, there's only one seat up for grabs in Gordon House, and these two MPs has the same voting count. So I would like to know how is that going to be decided. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't say anything more about it than that. I'm curious because as much as I teach what I know here, I also learn from you guys who share knowledge and wisdom to me as well in the comment section. Anyway, before I go, let me big up some people.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
First and foremost, I would like to big up Michael L, Marcia Edley, Paul Gordon, S. Hussein, and last but not least, I'd like to big up Mike Uhuru.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
And that's pretty much it for today, people. And like I always say, people, if you want me to big you up on this channel, all you have to do is big me up in your comment and I will definitely big you up. Just type hashtag it's big up and I will definitely big you up. But let me know, who do you think should be the next People's National Party president? I believe Philip Paulwell would be an ideal candidate that would give Andrew Holness a good run for his money. And that's pretty much what we want out of politics. We want someone who gives the government a good run for its money. And when I say a good run, what I'm meaning, the beneficiary will be Jamaica. Good run meaning if the PNP wins, they should try to outdo the Jamaican Labour Party by making Jamaican people happier and Jamaica a better place. And if the JLP wins again, they should outdo the People's National Party by making Jamaicans happier and Jamaica a better place. And that's all that politics is about, people. Anyway, let me know what you think of this one. As you know, on this channel, I appreciate thumbs up and thumbs down, agreement and disagreement, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, ENT Sebast, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.